everyone for joining. This is the second of our What's New webinars we're starting to do on a quarterly basis, so we can keep you updated on all the feature releases that are coming, fast and furious. So my name is Katie. I'm on the product marketing team along with my colleague Abby. We've probably spoken with a lot of you before, so we work closely with our customers to understand how they're using Houzz Pro and any feedback you have. And then we also work closely with our product and engineering teams to make sure that we're building the right products for our customers. So again, for those of you who have provided feedback, hopefully you've seen it reflected in a lot of the improvements that we're making. And that's really what guides our roadmap. So if you have feedback, you can email it to us, you can put it in the chat, any way to get that feedback across. So let me share here some of what we'll be covering for the next probably about half an hour. Any questions as we go through, add them into the chat and either Abby or I will address them. So we're going to talk about some exciting updates first to our financial tools. So that includes documents, QuickBook Online, as well as our online payments. And then we'll talk about updates to our project management tools. So the Clipper, selections, files and photos, and schedule. And then we'll wrap up with Automate on the mobile app, which is our new AI feature. So to get started, we do have one quick poll actually that we can throw out. And that's a pretty general question around which feature do you wish you had in Houzz Pro? So anything, if you've, whenever you log in, if you're like, oh, if only they had this feature, put it in here. Because again, that's always helpful for us and how we decide what features to work on next. So with that, let me start sharing and I will cover updates to the financial tool section and then I'll hand it over to Abby. Okay, Abby, can you see my proposal here?
Yep, you're all set.
Okay, perfect. So the first update that we have is that we've added a discount line onto proposals. So if you scroll down to your proposal, you'll see here it says discount. And this is great if you want to, maybe you have a special deal going on, or if you just want to show your clients that you can have that discount available to them by working with you. So you can see here, you can apply it either by a percentage, say you want a 10% discount, or a dollar value, a fixed amount here. You add it in and then you click the checkbox. And also you can rename discounts. So say you don't want it to say discount, say it's like a Black Friday special, for instance. Add that here. Click the check mark, and then that discount will also be carried over to an invoice when you create it. Another update we've made here is that you can now reorder scheduled payments. So when you scroll down in your proposal, this section here has your payment schedule. Again, you can really easily add one, and then you can rename them. So say you want this to be a deposit. To reorganize those payments, you just click on the dots, and then you can drag and drop them. Again, here you can change the dates and really customize it to whatever is most useful for your business. And if you don't have online payment set up, this is a good place to set it up. So then your clients can pay you either through ACH or through credit card.
Katie, Angela asked, can this be done on an invoice if they're not making a proposal?
Yes, it can also be done on an invoice. Okay, great. So those are pretty, impactful, but simple updates. The third one here, I know a lot of you are probably really excited about, especially if you were on Ivy, and this is groups and proposals, which we've been working on for a long time and we just released. So this is great if you're working on a custom item and you have a few different elements for that product and you don't necessarily want your client to see everything that's involved. So say you're working on a custom chair, here you can add in the products. Again, you can add them here just from your library up here. Add them in. So say we're doing a custom chair and we have labor, we have a frame, we have fabric. Again, our client doesn't need to see all that. So you can just click on these boxes here. And then up here, you'll see create group. So it'll group them and then you can title this custom chair. And then you'll see this crossed out eye icon that indicates that your client is not going to see these components. And again, when you go into preview the invoice, it'll just say chair with the total value there. You won't see all the different pieces. Are there any questions on this? Okay, great. Another update we have while I'm on this is faster ACH payments. So for those of you who have been using online payments through Houzz, you know we have ACH bank transfer or credit card. And ACH payments used to take about 5 to 7 days, and we've recently updated. So now those payments will go through within 2 business days. So hopefully those of you who have been using ACH payments have already seen this faster speed being reflected. There's no additional charge to you on top of the existing 1% ACH fee, but it's really a great way to get that money into your account faster so you can keep the projects moving ahead. So if you don't have online payments set up, you can go in here to settings, online payments, and then you can get started with the process here. And for those of you who do have online payments already set up, if you would prefer to make ACH your default setting so that all of your payments will go through ACH, you can also do that on the payments page, which I can show you here. Go into online payments here. You can see it's connected, and then you can choose here when you want to use ACH, when you want to use credit card. So you can opt into ACH for everything. Any questions on that? Hopefully those of you who have using ACH have already seen some of these faster turnaround times in your bank account as well.
Yes, it sounds like Kathleen's excited about that and thanked us. That's great.
Okay.
Bridget asked, will you be able to create a tear sheet for the custom chair? Could you go back to that?
Yes, let me go back to that. Let me find that one. I believe the answer is yes. Abby, do you know?
Let me double check real quick, and then I'll message you one-on-one just to be triple positive. Or I'll message the whole group, actually. Next question is, can you give room totals instead of individual item costs?
Can you give room totals?
Yeah, I'm not sure I understand that one fully. But if you want to message us in and explain a little bit more, that would be helpful. Valerie asked, if there is a QuickBooks integration, is the 1% ACH fee in addition to what QuickBooks charges?
No. Oh, I'm sorry. The 1% ACH fee is through, yes, using payments through Houzz Pro, there's a 1% fee.
Okay. And then Kathleen asked, will it show both options on my invoices, ACH and credit card?
So you can choose those settings. Let me just go into it. Let's see. So yes, when your client goes in, they can choose if they want to pay by credit card or by ACH. And you can edit the default payment settings here that you want to provide to your clients.
Awesome. Thank you, Katie.
Sure. Okay, great. So then we'll cover here updates to some QuickBooks Online sync indicators. So for those of you with QuickBooks Online, you can integrate it into your Houzz Pro account so that all the data will transfer seamlessly and you don't need to basically do double the work. So what we've done is made it much easier to tell when documents have been pushed to QuickBooks. So you can see, for instance, if I'm working on an invoice here, this says not ready for sync. When you go down, once you log a payment, let's say we want to log a payment, this was made by credit card. Once a payment is logged, you'll see up here this little sync in progress indicator. And now the sync is complete. Oops, sorry about that. So previously you had to issue an invoice in order for it to be synced to QuickBooks, but that's no longer the case here. And so this indicator, if you click on it, will also give you the details. So you can see it was synced with QuickBooks today, March 26th at 9:12 a.m. And then there's a link here to view it on QuickBooks. So there are a few different indicators here depending on the status. You can see if it's in progress, if it failed, And basically clicking on that will give you more information on it so you can troubleshoot and figure out what you need to do next. And then if you go into your QuickBooks dashboard here, there's this dashboard where you can see the status of all your documents and if they've synced. So let's say if we look at estimates, invoices, purchase orders, you can see the sync status here. Again, a column to view it in QuickBooks. And then you can also filter by the status. So everything that has a sync complete, for instance, if it failed to sync. So again, it will just make it much easier for you to understand what's going on. We also do have QuickBook experts available. So if you have questions or maybe you're having some trouble with your QuickBooks Online integration, you can always reach out to them to set up time. And we also have lots of help content available. We can put some of that in the chat here.
We have quite a few questions, Katie. So first, Bridget asked, will we be able to pass the cost of the credit card fee on to the client?
Yes, definitely. So let me show you that again. You go into online payments. You can see here it says processing fee. You can choose if you want to be a transaction fee or a convenience fee. And then here, this little box is offset processing fee to client. So if you check that box, then your client will pay the fee. If it's unchecked, then you'll pay the fee. One thing we have seen be very successful is increasing your markup to absorb that fee, because we know sometimes clients don't want to necessarily pay a fee, but you could increase your markup by say 5% to cover the fee, and then the clients won't see any fee on their end. You'll absorb it, but it will be covered within your increased markup.
Okay, awesome. Let's see. I have quite a few more. So I heard back on the question about grouping items together. So she was asking if you can group together items for a room instead of it being the individual components of a group, and it give the total for that room. You could technically use it that way and just turn off the eyedropper icon so that you can kind of organize things and get that total. Yeah, you could do that for sure.
Yeah. And then again, you could just rename it to be, living room, for instance.
Yeah, exactly.
When Abby goes through the selection board too, she can show how that's a good way to categorize items by a specific room.
Yeah. Kathleen asked, if I haven't issued older invoices yet, will they still sync to QuickBooks Online, or is it just for newer invoices?
That is a good question. I believe it's just for newer invoices, but we can confirm that.
Okay. Okay. Bridget was looking for the whole chair to be a tear sheet. There might be a setting to do that. So Bridget, I can follow up with you offline and give you more information on that. Let's see. Kathleen asked, can you show how you got to that screen again? I'm not sure which screen that was on, but if you let us know, Kathleen, we're happy to show it. I would love some help getting myself on QuickBooks. We will definitely share the information for getting in touch with a QuickBooks expert. And then, okay, Bridget, same thing about the custom chair. Okay, cool. Awesome. Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you for all the questions.
Yeah, keep them coming. Thank you, guys. All right. Let's see. Oh, Kathleen wants to see the QuickBooks screen in Houzz Pro where the invoices are shown as synced or not synced. Does she want to get there?
Yeah, let me share my screen again.
Awesome. Thank you, Katie.
Sure. Okay, so if you're on, say, your homepage here, if you click into settings, under integrations here, it says QuickBooks. If you click on QuickBooks, then you'll get to this sync dashboard. So hopefully that answers your question.
Perfect. Thank you, Katie.
Okay, thanks.
Awesome. Well, now I'm going to just, what does it mean when it says failed to sync? Sorry, one more question.
Oh, so that means it did not sync over to QuickBooks. And there should be some information about why that may be the case in the little sync indicator.
Okay. So it'll give you an error message and tell you what exactly is going on.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. Awesome. So next we're going to dive into some design project management upgrades that we've made recently. That's a lot of the same syllable there. Sorry about that. So first up, we are going to start with some updates that we made to the Clipper. So I'm sure that if you're in design, you probably are a fan of our Clipper tool. I hope you are. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So the first thing that we're going to go through, like I said, is the Clipper. So what we've done here is added instant product clipping, product image clipping. And so, the Clipper makes your life a lot easier. You're able to pull information a lot faster. Well, we've made it even faster. We've taken it a step further. So if you're shopping online on a website and you're wanting to pull multiple images in to save to your library, you can now do that even faster by up here in the right-hand corner. When you have your Clipper open, you just click Clip Product Images. And you can see here, it's already found the 12 images of this adorable little marble tripod coffee table that you see to the left. And you can choose which images you want to add and then clip those directly to the product. So it's just a quicker way to get those images in. It's kind of like an auto sourcing feature. So it's going to go ahead and pull all those details in quickly for you. So that's the first upgrade to the Clipper. Next up is the selections tracker. So we've made a big overhaul to the selections tracker. You'll see that there's much less horizontal scrolling. You don't have to scroll all the way to the left and the right to see everything anymore. We've introduced these new views in the top left-hand corner. So it's condensed based off of maybe what you want to see. So if you just want to see things at like a very high level view, you might want to use the planning tab. If maybe your bookkeeper needs to look at things from a financial perspective, you can see all the nitty-gritty details about the finances on that tab. We also have one for procurement. And then all is what you're most used to seeing. So you've probably, this is what you've seen in your past. This is going to have all the details that you could possibly need for that room. We've also introduced 2 different views. So we've introduced this stacked view that you can see where things are batched together. You can see like master bedroom, accessories, they're from Wayfair, is all grouped together. If you don't like that, you can also click in the upper right-hand corner, these 3 lines icons, and switch to the flat view. So that's going to kind of break everything out for you, be more linear. Some people prefer it that way. Some people prefer stacked. So we have both options for you now, which is really exciting. And then in addition to that, you can also customize the columns that you have. So you can reorder them if you want to move them around. If you want to see category before room, you can simply drag those around. You can add new fields if there's something specific that you want to be able to track. And then once you hit save, all of those changes will be reflected here. We've also introduced some more granular sorting, organizing, and filtering. So let's say you want to look at all the things organized by category and sort them A to Z. You can do that. If you'd like to group them by room for purposes of like an install or something like that, like I need to see everything that's in this guest bedroom, you can do that as well. And something else to note, that if you organize things by room when you go into export, if you say, for instance, you export as an FF&E, those export and sort the organization will stay. So that's really helpful for you if you're like on site, you need to hand something to the installers to make sure that they kind of know where everything goes. So that can be super helpful. So lots of fun updates there. We have more coming for that feature. It's really something that's going to be really exciting. There's so many capabilities within it. So really good stuff. Next, sorry.
Abby, we have a few questions.
Okay, cool.
Can you show, Caroline was asking how you can add items to the selection tracker?
Yeah, sure. So by default, if you've added something to your board, it's already going to pull into the tracker. But if you want to start from just the tracker, you can also do that. So up here in the right-hand corner, you're just going to click the add button, and it's going to pull up the different products that you would want to add to your board. So super easy. You just click, and then you're able to add items in.
Great. And then how do you get to the individual tear sheet?
The individual tear sheets. So export, download tear sheets. And that will give you tear sheets. Yeah.
Let's see. Vanessa asked, if you add dates for delivery, will that add to the project schedule?
It does not yet, but that's a really great idea. We're working on integrating some of those things now. So I will, I'll keep your name on our list to let you know when that comes out.
One question from Valerie. She said sometimes when she adds multiple images from the clipper, the resolution is not good enough.
Interesting. Okay.
I think when you are clipping images, do you mind going back to it? I think sometimes a little icon will show up.
Yeah.
That basically indicates that it's not high resolution.
Yeah, like maybe if I tried to pull this specific image in there, it might tell me. No, it didn't. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, I think sometimes that may happen when you're clipping a lot of images. So I would say just like double check them to make sure that they look okay.
And usually what I would recommend is not to use like the little thumbnail views. Like don't use this little tiny picture. You're going to want to get the largest size possible if you're doing it manually and you're not using this auto clip feature. But yeah. Okay. Any more questions about the clipper or the selections tracker?
No, that's it.
Okay, cool. Next, we'll move on to files and photos. So we've introduced commenting to the files and photos. So if you're inside one of your projects, let's say you click your project, open it up, click on files and photos. If you have these 4 files in there, you can click open that file, and then you can chat both with your client or your team. So you can simply @mention them. So I'm going to say, let's message Patricia and say, do you like this direction for your guest bedroom headboard? It's really good for like, hey, you want to talk about something specific, like an inspiration photo. You want to talk about something specific on a floor plan, that sort of thing. You can just simply @mention them, ask the question, and then comment back and forth. Really nice for like keeping everything all in one place, not having to manage those conversations in a text message because they can get lost and get very confusing very quickly. So awesome. That's our files and photos. Any questions?
No questions. Just some love about the new selection board tracker functionality.
Sweet. We love that.
One question from Andy. Can you scale the pictures so they're all the same size?
Scale the pictures so they're all the same size.
I think that may be back in the clipper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Back in the clipper. I don't think I don't think you can choose what the resolution of the image is or anything like that, because the problem is that the images come from the vendor's website. It's not really our image. So if it's, say, for instance, it's too small, like we can't make it larger unless they provide it larger. So we might run into some of that. But if it's larger, we might be able to make it smaller. But I don't know that that would be helpful to you. But let us know. That's definitely something we could look into.
Okay, great. I think that's it for now.
Cool. Awesome. The next set of updates are to our schedule tool. I don't know if many of you use the schedule tool. It might seem like a construction thing, but it can really help you when you're doing like the different phases of the design process and all the way down to procurement and installation. And so we have some really great templates that are baked in that you can start from. So you can see, like, we have some that like detail what the design phases could look like for you. You can kind of make those your own, when you need to present, what items are dependent on each other, that sort of thing. But the big upgrades here are multiple dependencies. That's one of the first ones. So you can see, for instance, here, I'm under purchasing and procurement. And a good example of this is like, okay, I need to finalize this sofa order with Norwalk, right? But in order to do that, I need to first choose my COM fabric, and I need to order that COM fabric before I can mark that as final. So that's where this multiple dependencies comes in play. So you can see here on this item that's finalized the sofa order, under dependencies, it says that this task can only happen after I've chosen the fabric and after I've ordered the fabric. So makes sense, right? Like those things have to happen in order for this to happen. So that's a really nice big upgrade for us. You'll be able to link things together, make sure that the steps that need to happen before something happens happen. So really, really, really cool upgrade there, especially if you're doing custom ordering. It can be a really big help. The next upgrade is workday settings. So up in the very top, you'll see this actions menu. If you click that drop down, you can click workday settings. And so let's say it's the summer, you're not working Fridays, so you got to be home with the kids. Turn off Fridays and hit save, and it's going to adjust your schedule for you. You'll see up here at the top, The work days are in white and the non-work days are in tan. And so it's going to take that into consideration for your overall schedule. So that's something that's really helpful. Next up is the baseline. So you can actually set a baseline for your project. And so what that basically does is it saves like an outline of what your project schedule is right now. So you can kind of track variations. So if something changes, you're able to see where it changed and why, and like better have a grasp on where the project is at and where the project was, and so that you can better answer to your customer. So to do that, up in the top right-hand corner, you just click Set Baseline. It's going to give you a little bit of like precursor text just to tell you what it's going to be doing. And then once you hit confirm, it's going to establish that baseline for you. And so you can see right here, we're on schedule for developing the design concepts. Let's say that we move that a little bit. We're 3 days behind now. Okay, now we can see holistically in the project where we're behind, what we're ahead of schedule on, that sort of thing. So it's very helpful for overall project tracking. The next thing on the list is calendar improvements. So we also have a calendar view of this schedule. If you're more of like a calendar orientation kind of person, you can switch from this Gantt view to the calendar view. And so we've made some improvements to that view. One of those improvements is that you can simply drag and drop items. And so let's say this kickoff meeting got moved. I am going to simply drag and drop it to the 24th of April and simply move that around, and it's going to shift things accordingly for you. So that's really helpful if you like this view a little bit better. And then the last thing with the calendar view is that you can now export it and print it out. So you'll be able to click down here. You click Actions menu at the top, click Export As, choose your file format if you want a PDF or a PNG, and then export, and then you'll be able to print that. So it's just a few slight tweaks to the schedule, but I think that those overall can really help you in your design process. So that's it for the design project management portion. Do we have questions?
Let's see. Jennifer is really excited. We can export the calendar.
Yay, good.
That's great. There was, let's see, one question from Lisa. If you can just find again where to find the files and photos link.
Yes, I can do that. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, we'll back all the way out just to make this a little bit easier. So if you're on your homepage, you're going to navigate to the project that you want to go to. So we were looking at the Jones residence, so we're going to click that one. And then on this left-hand navigation, you can see you have the project name, we have planning, we have management, we have finance. So under management, you have files and photos. So you're going to want to click there. And then we were kind of inside a specific folder. So I'll show you the full process. But you just click any of your individual files that you want to comment on and just click it. And then it opens automatically with this little commenting window on the right. So you can just @mention, just shift @, and then you can tag the people on your team. You can tag your clients and comment back and forth with them about your project.
Awesome. Let's see. Another question from Sarah and Jennifer. Can you show how to see basically the schedule overview, where you can see the schedules for all of your projects that are going on at once?
Yes. Let me see. Just 1 second. Schedule. Hang on 1 second. Do you want to send one more poll real quick, Katie? Let me get that pulled up.
Yeah. Well, you pull it up. I'll actually share a few links. So back into my QuickBooks demonstration, and I know there were a lot of questions. We're actually having an accounting best practices webinar for designers on April 10th. So I'm going to put that link into the chat right now. So we'll have some of our QuickBook experts on the line as well as a bookkeeper. So that should, I think, really help for your questions. Another link I wanted to share here for those of you who are relatively new to Houzz Pro is a getting started guide. So that's something we've developed over the last few months. And this will include tutorial videos that help you walk through some of the basics that we think are important as you're getting set up with Houzz Pro. And then as well, the link to our help center is always good. And then Abby, one other thing I'll ask you to show when you're sharing your screen is how to access the chat. If you have any questions as you're working on something, we have a chat that's, I would say, live between the hours of like 6 a.m. and 7 p.m., something to that extent, depending on your time zone. So there, if you have questions as you're going through something, if you run into an issue, one of our reps can help you out really easily. One more update we wanted to share, which is on our mobile app. We've recently released an AI assistant called Automate. And so if you have the app installed, you should, if you don't already, you can just go to the App Store and download it. You'll see on the bottom right a feature called Automate, and you can basically talk into it the way you may like Siri on your phone and ask it to do simple tasks like creating a task, adding contact information for a lead, and it will do that for you. So it can save you time when you're, out in the field or just don't want to pick up your phone and type into it manually. And I can just show really quickly some of this video. Let's see. Okay.
Well, there's some examples of how this could be used in a real scenario. Let's imagine we're going on site to scope out a new job. You get there, and instead of having to be heads down in your phone, all you have to do is tap and say, look up the lead, Jason Jones. That's who we're visiting. And there he is. Tap to confirm. All right. And now, let's imagine we're chatting with Jason about his project. We want to take notes so we don't forget what was discussed. Instead of having to write it all down, we can say, create a note. Jason would like a full kitchen remodel, replacing everything, including the existing appliances. His wife wants a farmhouse sink. They want to extend the island and add under counter storage. They also want to replace all the windows. There's 10. The space looks to be about 2,000 square feet.
So I think you get the gist of it here. But basically, that's something that should be very helpful to you as you're in the field. Hopefully, it will save you some time there. Again, if anything else comes to mind, feel free to email us. Or actually, while I have my screen sharing for one more second, I will show you how to access the chat for those of you who aren't familiar with it. So whenever you're in Houzz Pro on any screen, down here in the bottom right, you'll see this little chat icon. And then if you have a question, you can send us a message and we'll reply. You can also see a lot of help articles are here as well. So you can search if there's something you're not sure about, or you can browse some of the most common help articles that we often share with our customers. So thank you so much, everyone. We really appreciate it, and we hope to see you next time.